Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to talk about one of the most honestly kind of shocking updates I've seen in recent months or even years for EFT, and this was something I really didn't expect to see today. BSG did tweet out yesterday that they were having a patch today, that the game was going to be down for an hour or two, whatever, the usual stuff. And then I get on Twitter and just everybody's freaking out, and they've made this massive change to dropping items in raid, or trading in raid to people. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over everything everybody's been talking about on Twitter. We're going to talk about the update itself. We're going to go into detail about the items that can and cannot be traded in raid anymore. And I'm basically just going to give you guys my opinions, maybe some angles you guys have maybe not thought of. And will this overall be good for the game or bad for the game? Now, before we get into it, lads, I would really appreciate if you guys do enjoy this video, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. We are trying to hit 100,000 subs by the end of the year. That would be absolutely awesome. And if you enjoyed, leave a like and maybe send it to a friend. So with all that being said, let's get into it. So we're going to first start off with this tweet here from Logical. Breaking changes. I'm at a loss for words in this change. I never imagined they do something this stupid. This is literally the worst anti-RMT feature I have ever seen. Log in and leave a comment telling them how you feel on the forums. Well, one thing is for sure, you guys should log into the forums and let your comments and thoughts be known. However, please at least try out the system and think about the system before you end up doing so. Then just to further explain here, for those confused, this is what happens when I try to drop a sick case in raid. Not that I ever would, but I should be able to give Timmy an in-raid key that I have or something. I'm at a loss for words. I can't believe this changed. So if you attempt to drop these items, it'll basically destroy them if you press yes. And then he's made a spreadsheet here of all the items that are not allowed. If there is a 0 next to any item on this list, that means that it is not droppable in raid. So you've got a bunch of armbands, you've got some streamer items, I believe all the streamer items, antique teapots, vases, ammo cases. There's a bunch of stuff that really isn't, it doesn't really matter that much. So pro kill medallions, dog tags case, a lot of the dorm keys, all of the health resort keys, pretty much by the looks of things. Pretty much any item that you can think of that holds pretty much any value at all is pretty much not going to be able to be traded in raid. So this is a pretty substantial change. You've also got the ollie keys here, defibrillators. I'm sure LEDXs are on this list here somewhere. Let's see. Yeah, LEDX skin transsimulator, all of the reserve keys, sick case, USEC stash keys, ripstop fabrics, thick items cases, weapons cases. All of the colored lab key cards are now not allowed to be dropped in raid to other people. Tetrises, you guys kind of get the point. And then when we get down here, it shows items that can be dropped in raid. So Willer's wallets for some reason, SJ1s, SJ6s, SJ9s, stimulants, mules, L1 stims, Karasa body armor can be dropped. And then, what was it? Bottle of JD can be dropped, VOD can be dropped. And then the ruble limit that can now be dropped in raid is set to 20,000. So if you guys want to have a deeper look at this list, if I skipped over something you guys want to see, just go to @LogicalSolution on Twitter, and it'll be one of his most recent tweets by the time that this video goes up. Some of the specific items without the found in raid status will receive a new property. In an attempt to discard these items in raid, they will be destroyed. In other words, if you take the specific item from the list below to a raid in advance and attempt to give it to another player, in the process of discarding, they will be destroyed. So let me make this clear. This does not count as if you pick up an item in raid and then drop it to your friend. You won't be able to. You will be. Any item that you pick up in raid, if you're in there with your teammates, you will be able to drop to your teammates. It's only if you bring the item from your stash into a raid and attempt to drop it to somebody, it will not work. The change is intended to combat RMT and boosting. When attempting to drop a restricted item, a warning dialog box will appear with the text, "Warning, the following items will be permanently lost." Some items without the found in raid status will be destroyed if players try to discard it from their inventory and ignore the warning. Players place it in their backpack, pockets, or chest rig and get killed by another player, or tries to drop any container, backpack, or rig containing this limited item. If a player dies, the limited items in their secure container will not be destroyed. So the only place that these items are safe in the event of a death is in your secure container. So that is pretty much the rundown. This is obviously something that BSG is trying to do in order to combat real world trading or RMT, real money trading. There was also a bunch of fixes and stuff. Scav raiders and rogues no longer aggressive to player scavs if they kill a PMC. Fixed possible breach of rain animations inside of buildings on customs reserve shoreline and lighthouse. Fixed one of the possible reasons missing out visual and sound effects or grenade explosions. Fixed the behavior of raiders when one is killed by a player. Fixed Rashala's logic of medicine usage. Fixed the reaction of bots to smoke grenades. Fixed the incorrect display of adjustable magnification using the Schmidt and Bender. Fixed unnatural hand position during the animation of reloading the MP443 Grok pistol. Scavs, raiders, and rogues will no longer take position close to players when engaging them. Fixed animation freezes the character loading into the raid screen on the character page, ragband service, blah, 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 blah. Okay, nothing too major. And now we're going to get into some comments real quick before I get to my own opinion. So this was obviously a screenshot of some comments taken from Facebook. So we've got your boy, Mr. Jared Mitchell. Phew, thank God I donated all my stuff sooner. I was leaving for a deployment and I knew I wouldn't be coming back to the game for almost a year. Through the course of 3 weeks, I donated 20 mils worth of gear, all my keys, and whatever I could fit to random players. So that's a nice thing to do. A lot of people do that, especially towards the end of the wipe. Or a lot of people, when they're like wiping their own accounts, they will do stuff like this. So good guy, Jared, and good luck on your deployment, my dude. Good. No more free handouts to streamers. Want to see how they make content without lab cards and money, etc. Tell me you've never watched the streamer without telling me you've never watched the streamer before. Stay upset, Gene. Too many people rely on others, apparently. Cry about cheaters, and then you cry when they take steps to fix it, go back to COD. So this is a very common, you know, knee-jerk reaction to everybody complaining about the change. But there is some truth to that. I feel like this is a little bit exaggerated. We've got another comment here from Aaron Ryder. This is a brilliant idea. It's known that there are a lot of cheaters who just cheat to win, but the vast majority are cheating to gain money with RMT. Hopefully this will stamp out those idiots buying and selling stuff, and we will notice a difference in the amount of cheaters. Labs might actually be playable again soon. It absolutely won't be. In fact, Labs is probably going to be much worse than it ever has been before. Probably a lot of other maps too. And I will explain my reasoning why. Got a comment here from Nice Guy. So, beta tester here. We're here to test the final game. BSG thinks that this will help in the fight against cheaters. It sounds bad for the normal players, and it might be compared to what it was, but it might really put a dent into cheaters. So let's try it. I'm down. I'm always down for trying out new things. I'm down for trying out new changes. Doesn't really bother me that much. I don't take handouts when I'm leveling up in Tarkov. The only thing I've ever really done was if I have like this wipe specifically, I had RBST and somebody in my chat needed RBST, and I think they traded me one of the Kiba keys, and we traded Kiba key for RBST in raid, and then that was pretty much it. And I'm pretty sure other than that, I haven't taken any handouts up until I got my Kappa container pretty much. Most streamers don't really take handouts and stuff, just to, you know, put that in perspective. But I think this change overall is going to be a good thing. And honestly, I think overall, nobody's really going to give too much of a shit about it. However, it is going to have a pretty huge effect on the game. And then Trey 24K, Tarkov update, major L. So Trey is obviously not a fan. Fair enough. A lot of people aren't. I can understand why. I can definitely understand why. Doing giveaways and stuff like that as a streamer, it's a fun way to give back to your community a little bit. And sometimes you get people in our community that are like, hey, I'm not playing Tarkov anymore. Here's a red key card, a full set of lab keys and shit for you to give away. And then we'll run a giveaway and we'll give it to somebody else in the community. You can have fun with it. We've got a comment here from Hayes. More changes to stop RMT that also affects the general player base. There has to be another way forward instead of slowly but surely hindering the experience of legitimate players. Again, I absolutely agree with Hayes' sentiment. It feels like the many are being punished for the deeds of the few. It's a bit of a bummer, especially to newer players that want to come in and, you know, maybe get help from their teammates. And I will say there are some people that play Tarkov. They don't play it as much as other people, and they have friends that play it a ton. Their friends are super rich. They have gear. They want to give their homies things that they can use in raid. But I mean, you can still bring a bunch of gear into raid for people. You can still bring them like full kit loadouts and backpacks and stuff like that. You just can't really drop them sick cases and keys and stuff. Feels bad for Friendly Guy. For anybody who doesn't know who Friendly Guy is, he would bring in items into raid with him all the time. He is probably the only person who plays Tarkov without killing anybody. He just purely uses VoIP, talks to people. He has good interactions with people. He will drop them items out of his container, such as, you know, sick cases, dock cases, key bars, LEDXs, key cards, like all that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, this update has completely screwed his entire character, I guess, for EFT. That's a mega bummer because this guy makes amazing content and he's a really nice dude. And then Veritas, this was the comment that I pretty much most agree with. So I predict RMTers will transition to more carries, locating high value loot for customers and hunting legit people with high gear. Progressing to better gear will be even less exciting. Legit players will have the increased risk of dying to cheaters and even less reward potential. So I want to talk about this real quick. For anybody who maybe doesn't understand where Veritas is coming from there is a thing that you can do to where you can go to a website, you can pay some hacking tiny dick fuckhead to basically carry you through a raid. And what he'll do is he'll go ahead of you, kill everybody in the raid, and then he'll say, here's all the bodies. There's a LEDX over there. There's a LEDX over there. Go loot all that, and then we'll leave, and you give me $10. The person in question who is getting carried gets all of that gear for absolutely, you know, nothing. They don't have to do anything other than give them real money for the carry. And now with this RMT thing being changed, there is what seems to be way less ways in order to, you know, sneakily transfer money between accounts to where people can't just like buy raw rubles anymore. One major thing in this update is I was under the impression that most RMT trades are actually happening primarily on the flea market. One thing I've been thinking about in the last couple of days is trying out a bunch of these different services, seeing exactly how it works, and then trying to figure out a way, the best way possible to kind of stop them from doing that or limiting them from doing that. I have a feeling that the limiting the flea market slots this wipe was maybe something to do with that, like trying to combat this a little bit. But obviously the in-game trading is probably a way, you know, people were doing, because I know you could buy like a red key card for like $40. You could buy a full set of lab key cards and a sick case for like $50-$60 or whatever chat's been telling me. You can buy like, you know, fully modded kits and like, you know, best armor. You come into raid with the guy, you just kill him, you take his kit, and then you go play out your raid and you send him $5 or $10 or however much it is. I don't know how much it costs. But the major thing about this, and it's exactly what Veritas said, because it was the first thing I thought of the second I saw the post. Fuck. This is really fucking bad for the game. This is not going to be good. The major problem with this, okay, is people are going to transition from not buying rubles anymore into buying boosts, and cheaters are going to basically advertise boosts way more than advertise the selling of rubles. Okay, so what's going to happen is they're going to go to labs, right? And then on labs, they're eventually going to figure out that, oh wait, we're just running into a bunch of other cheaters now because the market is saturated, because we can't easily, you know, drop things to sellers and buyers anymore. So what's going to happen is, instead of playing labs, a lot of these boosters are going to start taking their clients to other maps, because labs is going to be super saturated with people. They're just going to go to Lighthouse, they're going to go to Customs, they're going to go to Interchange, they're going to go to Factory maybe. Maybe not Factory. Factory's kind of shit for gear these days. But I feel like there's going to be a ripple effect here to where we're going to start seeing a lot more cheaters on maps that we don't normally see cheaters on, because of the upswing in people selling boosts for EFT. So that is kind of my major worry. Yeah, I don't really know. I think this update, in theory, on paper, looks fine. I don't really have a problem with it personally. As I said, I don't really get dropped stuff by my community until it's like the end of the wipe. I have all my quests done, and then we're just kind of in the dicking around, you know, month or two portion of EFT before the wipe happens or whatever. So as far as that's concerned, it's not going to affect me. Is it going to affect new players that have friends that already play the game that want to get like a little bit of a head start? Of course it will. And does it suck that those people can't have, you know, like a nice, you know, sick case or docs case at the very start of the wipe and, you know, put their keys in it and get their quest keys from their friends and stuff? Yeah, it sucks a little bit, but it's really not going to make that much of a change. With the amount of complaining and bitching and freaking out I saw on Twitter, I was expecting to read that patch and be like, oh my god, what have they done? But like, people are really overreacting to this shit, like big time. People are mega overreacting. I think people need to fucking relax. First of all, like, take it the fuck easy, okay? See what it's like. It's the end of a wipe. We're not going to know until the, you know, the wipe comes around anyway, how it's going to affect the game. And honestly, I really don't think it is. I think the people that are kicking up a fucking stink about this are people that have been buying rubles from, you know, RMTers anyway. It has to be. I don't understand why there'd be such a massive negative kickback from this. Unless people drop shit to their friends like all the time in raid, like specific to that list. It doesn't have any influence on like gear you can bring in for your friends. bringing kits back in for your friends or whatever. It has no influence on that. It's basically keys, stocks cases, and then rare items that are worth a lot of money. That's it. I'm not seeing the major freak out issues that everybody's having. But lads, I don't know. That's it for me. If there's any more updates on this, I will make another video. I will keep you guys informed. Hopefully you guys enjoyed my ramblings and thoughts on this. But closing thoughts, I don't think it's that big of a deal. To be perfectly honest, I really don't think it's that big of a deal. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, all that juice, join the Discord, follow my Twitter, Instagram, all that shit. Link down below. Make sure to check out the vlog channel. Should also be linked down below if you guys are into that. And I will see you guys on the next video. Peace out, my dudes.